Hi, this is Alexis from the Mike Calta Show. You're about to watch comedian, radio host, and all-around weirdo, Jim Norton. I didn't actually watch the clip, but I'm pretty sure there's something about trannies in there.
Now, from the Autoglass America studios, it's the Mike Calta Show.
It's 8:19 on the Mike Calta Show. It's 102.5 The Bone. Jim Norton is in the studio. I feel bad that Kenny's not here. I feel like it's not the same now.
He's been doing a lot of stuff with Amy. She pays him a lot better.
Oh.
And he's got his own business
Good
now.
for him.
Yeah, he's really busy.
Yeah. All right. Spanish thought he was going to bang Amy when we went out.
Oh, really?
I only thought that because I was drunk.
I was in his drunk head trying to convince him that he probably could.
He convinced me that I had a chance, and it's not true.
No, I'm sure it's not.
No, it's
But
not
I'm sure
true.
she'd reiterate that.
Yeah.
Just looking over my tweets, my last DMs with Bourdain, which was what was 2017. But I was asking him to come on UFC Unfiltered. He's like, I'll be out of the country for the next few weeks, but one of these days.
Well, don't know. People are giving me a hard time
Liar.
on Twitter because in the last break we talked about Bourdain, and I go, Jim Norton's going to hang around with us, and I go, that was not intentional. I did
Not at
say
all.
that on purpose.
Well, that's probably accurate.
Yeah. I feel like now after we talked, I feel like that you think about that too much now. I worry about that.
Everyone thinks about it. I think everybody has their.
I never think about it.
Well, again, I think that's a really good thing if you have kids. Like, I think people who do it with kids, I know the thinking is like that it doesn't even matter. My existence is worthless. Like, they're not going to. You're not thinking of hurting your kids when you do it. I'm
Right.
sure. But like
that has to. Kate Spade wrote a letter.
I know.
And mentioned to her daughter, so she had to be thinking about her
blame
daughter.
your dad. Yeah, I thought it was really. But again, she had a history of mental illness. I feel bad for her because it's terrible. But it's almost like there's a responsibility with mental illness where she cared about her brand a lot. Her sister was like, look, I'm not shocked. They had tried to get her help. Her sister was willing to go away with her.
Yeah. And she's
last minute, nope.
Yeah.
And again, I have empathy, but it's also like what bothers me about mental illness, and I'm certain I have some of it, obviously, is the narcissism of it. You know, it's like you have to acknowledge sometimes that, there's a big selfishness that comes with it, too. It's not, you can help some of it. Some of it you can, and some of it's just being selfish. That's selfish.
I would imagine so. I would imagine, I mean, I don't know, it's hard to, but when Robin Williams killed himself, they talk about his relationship he had with his young daughter, and I was like, that makes me angry because you know that she is going to be so affected by it. And I said that the misery that I feel will not outdo the love I have for my daughter, so I could never do that. But then people were quick to tell me, look, you convince yourself when you have that depression, mental illness, that your daughter's life would be better without you.
Yeah, you do think that, and you also think you think of your good friends, and you're like, that person might be sad, but you literally don't even picture having any effect at all. You don't think that it will affect anybody's life. It's not that you think like, oh my God, everyone's going to be blown away. In those moments, you're like, this will be an absolute blip on the radar, if that.
Yeah.
It will mean nothing.
See, maybe that's why I never think about it, because in my mind, the world will stop on its axis if I die.
It'll be over.
Oh,
Yeah.
How will Tampa Bay go on?
Yeah, but when you
They
think
might have to rent the stadium for my funeral.
Yeah, for the grief. People and then you realize, like, people be sad, but you know what? They go on. People just move on, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, people brush off, and the next thing happens, and that's the news.
Next day, I'm hosting. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Stop praying for it, you jerk.
Hey, number two's not a bad spot in the market.
Speaking of Robin Williams, HBO has a documentary coming out about Robin Williams called Come Inside My Mind.
Oh, really?
That is mostly narrated by Robin himself, actually.
Wow.
That it's stuff throughout the years, and there's a bunch of different footage, and then, of course, they interview a bunch of different people.
That's creepy. Remember that
Billy
commercial?
Crystal and all those guys.
Remember that commercial with Yul Brynner that he did after he died?
Oh, yeah.
And that when I was a kid, I was like, I don't want to see this. This guy's dead. I know he's dead. This is freaking me out.
It was a good idea, an anti-smoking thing, but like once a guy dies with cancer, get someone to talk about him.
Yeah.
I didn't see him in the bed. Really creepy.
Right, with his bald head.
Yeah. Wasn't he bald anyway?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it just looked odd.
Here's the thing, bald heads don't look good on pillows. Whenever you have a bald head on a pillow, you look like you're going to be dead in 2 weeks.
Right, yeah.
I don't know. If I lay next to a mirror, I like when you lay on your back like this, and I could see it in the mirror on the side, and my neck fat comes all the way down. And I go, this is probably what I'm look like when I'm dead. This is horrible. This is why I want to be cremated. because you're gonna look like a fat mess laying. Like I could dress it up to look okay if I have to go out, but if I had to lay there and it got all congealed, it would not be a pretty sight.
You ever think you catch it that one? Because we all hair goes a little bit as you get older, and you'll catch that one angle where the light hits it and bounces off your scalp, and you can see where it's thinned out.
Do I ever?
And you're like, oh,
3 days a week.
yeah, it's horrible.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, you have an Anson Williams head of hair.
You too. That is delightful. I can't.
Yeah.
So that annoys me that my father is like 68 years old, full head of hair, hardly any gray hair.
Right.
And my brother has been shaving his head down like you since he was like 9. And now in his 40s, he's like, I'm going to grow it out. And he's got a full head of hair, too. I'm like, both of you guys are dicks.
Yeah, it just sucks when you see people who... I mean, look, it is what it is. You know, it goes, but then you see a young... What's the age difference between you guys?
No, same age.
Same.
Oh, no.
Same months.
Sorry.
Actually, you know who his hair looks like? He looks like casual Hitler. you know when Hitler would like chill out at the Eagle's Nest and he would do like the half a Zig Heil? He'd be relaxed petting Blondie.
Casual Hitler.
Casual Hitler is a great band name. That's a great band name.
Oh, so appropriate. 727-579-1025. I don't know why I'm not going to give out the take any phone calls, but Big J is here. You want to bring him in now? Go bring Big J in here. These are two. This is how you know they're two great comedians. Neither one are worried about the other one stealing their audience. I'm telling you right now. You're in a double dose of comedy. There'd be no reason why you shouldn't go both nights. Go Friday night to see one and Saturday night to see the other.
Yeah, and it's almost like if people are going to not going to see me because we're on the radio together, they shouldn't come see me. Hey, Jay, what's up, buddy?
Yeah. Big J looks like he either retired from ECW or he's going to go and restart the Jersey chapter of the Insane Clown Posse. Juggalos. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I've actually performed for that festival more than once.
Have you?
Yeah.
And do you love that, or you're like, because I love it. I love it to the point where I like to look out and go, "What is going on here?
Yeah.
What am I doing?"
It's the thinnest I've ever felt. I was actually envious of all the confidence of like just these.
Oh yeah,
just
that's their
monsters
world.
of
They don't
guys.
care. It's like going to a resort for just fat people.
It really
Like, you
is.
take your shirt off at the
Nobody's
beach.
gonna judge you.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done that twice, the Juggalos, and they like it if you're comfortable being there. They like it. Like if you're not a comic who like looks down on them and thinks you guys suck, you're animals. If you're having
That's
fun
me.
with them, they're great.
Yeah.
No, they are fun, but it's hard to get cohesive comedy out because they're constantly walking drugs up to the stage and you feel sort of intimidated to do it.
Yeah.
And, there was that documentary about them. The guy made like a 25-minute documentary called American Juggalo. It's
Right.
like fans.
Uh-huh.
And it's so all the Juggalos, I think, felt, the fans of the band felt that it was a like a beautiful piece showing that, you know, how amazing they are in this community and family. And the guy used that documentary to raise money to make a follow-up documentary called Oxiana, where he just followed like 5 of them home and just went into their meth-addicted lives. It's like a feature-length documentary. It's just these guys, like, just a bunch of like creepy dudes keeping young, pierced-up girls around.
Yeah. I watch
based off their-
Mike Busey Snapchat. That's very similar to watching a.
yeah.
Big J Oakerson is here. Big J is now you. It's weird because we're fans. We've only been on the show one time before, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because you don't come down here a lot or our
I was
schedules
here
don't.
last time I was here, yeah.
Yeah,
That's it,
so you don't come down enough.
No, yeah, that was it seemed like when I got here this time, I didn't realize. Yeah, haven't been here since 2014, I think.
Right? Isn't that crazy?
It's been a while, yeah.
But I did go to see you at the Montreal Comedy Festival this past festival, and it was the last thing I wanted to do. It was late night. It was at a strip club, and it was one of the roast shows. And I, all right, let's go to this thing. And then you were there. I was like, okay, this will be good. Holy crap. It was freaking hilarious. I mean, you think a roast show in a strip club, they're going to come out and be like, oh, fat joke, bald joke, whatever.
Making fun of the audience, not
the audience. You guys were
what's your effing deal? Yeah. The
tearing those people apart. It was fantastic. I thought that was a great show. Are you going there again?
Yeah, I'll be there again. This
Are you
year.
going, Jim?
I will be up there, yeah, broadcasting and doing, I think, 2 shows.
So I think we are going to
Gala.
do the same thing. I think we're going to broadcast on
Cool.
Thursday and Friday, or maybe just Friday, depending on what we can work out.
I hate doing the gala. You got to be 7 minutes clean, but that's where the money comes from.
Oh, really?
Is the sponsor. Yes, that's how you get paid good for going up there, because your own shows you make little money on.
Yeah.
But if you do a gala, you make the money and they fly you up.
How hard is it when you know that you've achieved, both of you, levels of success you've had in comedy and radio, and then you do a room and there's 8 people there? Like in that comedy show, like I go see some really good comedians, but because there's 9 shows going on at one time, there's like 8 people in the room.
If I have 8 people, I'm like, it's catching on. Doubled last year.
Sure, like I would think that, like, we play in a band, that if we went out there and there was 50 people, I'd be like, this is the worst night of our lives.
We're not playing.
Yeah,
And you have the crutch of music on that to just keep playing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to even look at them and interact.
Yeah.
50 people in comedy seems like a fantastic thing.
But don't you start? You have to address it though. As a comic, you have to just like this is half full. Let's just say it and get it out of the way, so they don't think that I'm deluded into thinking it's sold out.
I've already addressed it through the eyes of this sad waitress who has to go home.
Dude, what's worse?
She got Section 8.
The staff is just sitting there with their arms folded, and you can't blame it on the circus. It's the early show Saturday. Like, oh God, I suck.
He was going, sorry, Gina. I'm sorry. I know. You're just trying to get your kid into a good school.
Yeah,
sorry, he's
your
not going to pay the rent.
Your kid's
Jay.
eating dog food again, stupid. Sorry. Should have brought an earthquake.
This seems like more of a problem for a D-Ray to solve.
Let's go over, in addition to comedy, both these guys do radio and a number of podcasts. You do the Jim and Sam show.
Jim and Sam show and the Chip Chipperson podcast, which is more popular than anything else I do.
Unbelievable. And then what you do, an MMA one too?
UFC Unfiltered with Matt Seria.
Yeah, and that's some dedication. That's 3 more things than I want to do.
I love doing it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's just fun to do, yeah.
And what about you, Jay? You do the Bonfire with Soder.
Do Bonfire with Dan Soder, do Legion of Skanks with Louis J. Gomez and Dave Smith, and then I do the SDR show with Ralph Sutton.
What is that?
SDR, we just interview porn stars and music people usually.
How's that?
I think we both had in
Kendra.
this week. Kendra, Jesus.
Isn't she amazing?
She's stunning.
She's
one is
stunning.
Kendra?
She is a stunning Kendra Sunderland. She was that like nude library girl.
Oh, yeah.
She got in trouble for that.
Yeah.
And then she got arrested recently, I guess, for bringing weed. She didn't know you couldn't bring weed to the airport.
Yeah.
She's adorable.
She brought a bag, like when in Scarface, they're bringing money into the bank. She's got it over her dumb shoulder. It's like, just bring a vape pen. It's okay.
She's trying to bring a felonious amount of weed across borders.
Now, Louis J. Gomez and I had a history that was not good, and it was all my fault.
And you guys made up, though, which is fantastic.
Okay, but that's what I wanted to ask you. So I apologize. Like I screwed up with.
Yeah.
I was trying to bust his balls, and I busted him too hard, and I did the wrong thing. In an attempt to be funny and bust his balls, it backfired.
What'd you do?
So I think I was on with Opie.
Yeah.
It was with Opie and Artie Lang was in there, and Louis. I had just done the podcast. And I had met a lot of these Joe Lists. It was
Bobby Kelly's
Bobby.
podcast.
Yeah, it was Bobby, and it was Joe and Soder.
60 other people.
Yeah, and Lewis, and then another guy whose name I can't remember right now. And it was a good time, but I didn't talk for the first hour because of this animal that was next to me, which was Lewis. And but I didn't know him. I didn't know his personality, and he was all over the place, and he was making sound effects, and I was like, who is this guy? And then finally at the second half, I was like, all right, I got some things to say. So then I came on the show, and I was like, that podcast was great, except for that gorilla. And, and the whole thing, and I wasn't really being like full on serious, and I didn't know his comedy, so he may be a great comedian. And then I talked crap about him because I had done the Opie show right after that, and I brought him up, and I should have never have done that because he was like, I'm trying to break in, I'm trying to do, these guys are getting to know who I am. And I said, you're right. And I called him and I apologized. I said, I don't ever apologize. And I was wrong, though. And
sure.
And he was cool. All right. He's like, I get it. Then he went on his podcast and ripped me an a-hole with you guys. And I was like, that's fine. I deserve that one. I'll take it. But then we were cool. And then late last year, I went up to do, I went up to do another show. And I ran into him. I was sitting there on the streets because I got there early. And he came up to me and he was like, hey, dude. And I go, oh, hey, what's up? So we talked for a little while. Super nice, super cool. Did not have to come up to me. Then like 2 weeks later, everybody's like, Gomez is ripping you on Legion of Skanks again. I'm like, what is he, bipolar? What is his deal? So I don't know, but he's coming here in October. I
yeah,
can't
me
wait.
and Bobby, yeah,
We're gonna fist fight right here in the studio.
Throw down.
Yeah.
That's the way. Unleash the Skanksy today? 'Cause I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, well, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's one of the other.
He does, like, Lewis does like 6 podcasts.
Podcasts,
But
yeah.
they were like, he was violent, like he's back to hating you and everybody. I was like, all right, whatever. I don't know.
It's so bizarre. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I was wrong, but we're, as far as I know, we're cool now.
Yeah.
And
I'll be
if
the
not, we're
peace
fist
broker to
fighting in
make sure,
August.
just in case.
I just care. I don't listen. He may have heard, or he may. Sometimes I'm mad at people, and then I get over it, and then 3 days later I wake up and go, no, I'm not.
still
I'm
angry.
not good. I'm still angry.
Yeah,
at
you feel
that.
like you gave in. You're like, why did I apologize to that scumbag?
Yeah.
I should have said I
Why
was
would I
sorry.
shake hands with that animal?
Big J is here now. Big J is going to be at the Improv, and Jim Norton is going to be at Side Splitters. I can't tell you how you got 2 great shows here, and you should go
If
to
you're
both.
not into super high ceilinged comedy, go see Jim. If you like the laughs to dissipate into the ether before they hit you in the face, head over to see Jim.
Yeah. If you want a ceiling fan that could decapitate Vic Morrow, come see me.
There's an Anson Williams and a Vic Morrow reference in the same hour. Do you do drugs?
Weed. I'll smoke weed. That's about it.
I'm new to the weed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I
loving it,
can't
though?
smoke it. I
Can't smoke it.
No, they made it in candy form, and I'm like, I'll try candy. Yeah, I like it now, but I have to figure out what the right amount is for a guy my size.
It's tough. Last night, a fan gave me. I usually don't
See
do
that I don't do
I
right
don't do
there.
edible weed at all. But a guy brought me like some little, like baked good that was like a weed thing.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I normally wouldn't take that, but he gave. I feel bad throwing it away, and he gave it to me in a very awkward sized like Tupperware container. And then it's like, you walk around with this now. Yeah. So we were like, let's just eat it and get rid of this thing. And me and Justin Silver's here with me too.
Oh, I like
And,
Justin.
And we split it, and then, but I'm just not good with edible weed. And then just cut to both of us in a hotel room, watching white supremacist documentaries like in our own shell.
Otherwise known as compound media.
Are these guys making too much sense right now?
I mean, there are a lot of Jews in the media.
I do get scared to walk through certain neighborhoods. It would be nice to know there was a brotherhood out there, like-minded individuals.
Not about hate, it's about loving each other more. Yeah, fair enough.
I can't believe you would eat something that a listener gave you or
It
a
wasn't
fan.
smart.
No, not satellite radio.
Feces.
Poopy is the word. Richard.
Poop.
Seriously, if the hottest girl came in there and was like, I just love you guys and baked your cookies, we'd be like, oh, thank you. And then I'd throw them right,
Right in the
garbage.
trash.
I would always assume something horrible had happened to them. On our podcast once, a fan sent cookies just wrapped in cellophane, and Ari Shafir just out of the gates just ate one. And I said to him at the time, I go, Ari, if our fans sent that,
Yeah.
then probably what you're assuming they did to it, assume the worst, and they probably did that
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And I imagine what the worst thing somebody you feel could do to your cookies. The next week, the guy who sent them wrote back and said, yeah, of course that's what I did to those cookies.
Yeah.
Did he really? Oh, no.
I would think you would get an email with a picture attached and be like, oh boy.
Yeah, he showed us the whole baking process.
Oh, no. I put in the ass hair of an invalid. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Oh, we've had people eat toilet paper out of Carmen's butt before.
Is that an option?
Robert Kelly was here when that happened.
Oh, that's right.
He's the one who found it.
Can you describe that better?
That's right.
Okay, so let me start from the top. Carmen has what we have to call a BH tattoo. There was a story about a girl who had a tattoo around her butthole, and it was like a tribal kind of thing, and she had made national news. So a show that used to be on this station, a Billy Madison show, they were based out of San Antonio, and they're like, this girl's in Tampa, but she wants to finish that tattoo. Can you help me get a tattoo guy? And I said, not only will I help you get it, but I will put it on Cowhead TV so everybody can watch it while we're getting it. And they was like, great, so we could see it in San Antonio, so it worked out perfect. So Carmen at the time was relatively new here, and we had a taser, and we'd always tease her with the taser. And
You
she was-
wouldn't tease me with the taser. You would actually taser me.
You misspoke. He said teaser. He meant taser.
Yeah.
We would taser her with the taser.
I don't remember. It was
All
a
the
long time
time.
ago. And she was deathly afraid of it. And I said, out of the blue, I was like, hey, Carmen, if you get a BH tattoo, we'll never tase you for the life of your time here on the show. And she said yes. So she
Instantly.
got one in the studio the same time as the crazy girl got one, but hers is just a cute little heart that she has right next to her little blinking whale eye.
They're like
You have
best
not seen it
friends.
before?
I'm sure
What's that?
I thought I showed
I've never
you.
seen it. Can
Yeah.
I see it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, please come. Can I see it?
She's the best.
I wanna
She's
see
the
it.
absolute
I've never
best.
seen it, but I would like to.
Yeah, I would like to see it.
I've never
again.
seen a tattoo there at all.
Yes,
You're the
and
best, by the way. I was like, should I ask to see it? Or
Yeah.
That's my fat guy lack of confidence. Like, you don't. She doesn't want to show me.
Yeah.
You're right.
That was another part of the agreement. I have to show people.
Oh yeah, I'd be delighted to see it.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't. Like, I can't believe like I would think this would be one of the first things I'd want to show you. You'd
never
remember
My
it.
mentioned-
tobacco pipe first. I
So
wanna-
when Robert Kelly saw it,
When Robert Kelly saw it, there was a little piece of toilet paper
That
stuck in
happens,
there.
sure.
Yeah, so then we got another guy to come down and eat that toilet paper.
That's awesome.
Now,
An
now
eco-friendly show.
yeah, right?
if that was the price to see it, I'd eat toilet paper.
well worth it. Yeah.
I'd do
Well,
it.
let's negotiate. So the best thing about Carmen is she's such a good wingman and a trooper. One night I'm in bed with my kid at like 8 o'clock on a Saturday because I'm a loser, and I get a FaceTime video call which I never got before. And I go, okay, hit it, hello, and it's her and another hot blonde, and they're drinking down in St. Petersburg. And guess what? I'm with this girl, and she knows you, and we're going to get another, and she's getting a matching tattoo. I was like, oh, okay, go. Hour later, turn it on there, like zzz, getting it out. I was like, this is the best thing ever. Carmen is a
there
hero.
you go,
Yeah.
up on Bone TV.
That's
How
what-
big is the tattoo?
It's like the size of like a nickel.
Oh, okay, that's a little bigger than I would have thought.
Yeah. It's
It's a heart, and it's next to the area where
Yeah,
that's when
yeah.
she was getting it.
By the way, I'm very thankful this video isn't graphic enough, so we still get to see it live. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, what do we have to do to see it? Will you show us?
Yeah, I will, but let me go.
Make
you
sure
wanna
there's no
prep the
toilet paper.
area?
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
what
yeah, I
if
understand.
first of all, I think Jim would appreciate if he didn't prep the area.
Yeah, that
And
would be way better.
if
Yeah.
there's anything in
Hi,
there,
this is
Jay.
Elaine.
what do you need?
Well, so like normally I wear like really skinny thongs, but the
Oh,
one
you
I'm
granny
wearing,
penny it out today?
no, the one I'm wearing today is a little bit thicker, so I just want to make sure you can see it where I don't have to like remove my underwear because that's
should-
normally how I do it. I normally leave my underwear on and just kind of like open.
Oh, boo.
Oh, I didn't realize this was romper room.
Hey, you want to hear a song? I'll
Don't
play it through a sponge. No.
No. I think that you'll show them full on.
Yes, no, you definitely see everything, but I'm saying, but like,
You just pull it aside.
yeah, I pull it aside
Ooh.
only because like with the cameras and everything
Oh,
in here,
yeah.
like I can't like
Cool.
I don't want it to pants
Yeah,
Drop trowel.
fully.
What's a non-camera area you can go to?
Over by the door there.
Okay.
Yeah, we always do the corner.
Yeah.
All right. I as your immediate supervisor, I can't tell you when to do it. But
Yeah,
whenever
whenever
you're
you're ready.
Oh, okay, well, let me go,
Go
use the
check.
restroom.
Yeah.
Go. You know what? I'm gonna play some commercials.
You need
How do
Spanish
like
to
that?
help
Oh
you?
man, great. Well, we're about to lose
prep
all that.
the area.
We're
Yeah.
about to lose all that toilet paper.
You prep the area. I'll play some commercials. We'll be back. We got Jim Norton, Big J Oakerson, both in town. Jimmy's going to be at Side Splitters. Big J is going to be at the Improv. If you're in the Sarasota, Bradenton area, Bobby Kelly is at McCurdy. So it's a triple shot for you this entire weekend. And yes, please stop telling us Anthony Bourdain is dead. We made that announcement when it happened like 2 hours ago. So thank you, but we know. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with these guys next.
The Mike Calta Show on 102.5 The Bone. 102.5 The Bone. Real Raw Radio.